shiba, mutuwa bai ya rike shi ba. An haife Yesu muna Christmas, ya mutu ya tashi muna Easter. An haife Yesu muna Christmas, ya mutu ya tashi muna Easter. Hello, friends. You're welcome again with another time, with another time with justice. It's such a beautiful opportunity and moment um, to come up again and to share with you some exciting things that are really happening with me. Um, okay, well, not to drag us too long, I wanted us to talk about one of the piece I saw while going through, um, while actually going through um, West African verse, the work of Denis Osadebe. Denis Osadebe wrote a piece that was also gathered in the West African verse and given to us. Um, uh, the name of the piece, the name of the poem is Young Africa's Plea. The Young Africa's Plea. Interestingly, I think I have it here. You can read with me as we go about reviewing the work. I'll, I'll be coming back again. Let me try to fix some technical problems. All right. Well, I'm on again. All right. So, Young Africa's Plea by Denis Osadebe. I'll read the piece as we go about trying to do the review. For most of you, my command colleagues, you would see that it is a very interesting piece. I think it will stir in you this nostalgic feeling about some of the things you some of the experiences you had in class. But for me, um, this work is so powerful, and it brings back to mind one of my most favorable teachers in my junior secondary school days, Miss Kenny. We used to call her then, but I think by now she's Mrs. Kenny. Then it was not a beautiful experience for us, but by now I think my mind can really deal with it now. I'm beginning to enjoy all that she's impacted in us, all that she has forced in our hearts to remember. So let me just read the piece as we go about breaking it line by line, as she would do then. Don't preserve my customs as some fine curios to suit some white historian's taste. There's nothing artificial that beats the natural way in culture and ideals of life. Let me play with the white man's ways. Let me work with the black man's brains. Let my affairs themselves sort out. Then, in sweet rebirth, I will rise a better man, not ashamed to face the world. Those who doubt my talent in secret fear my strength. They know I am no less a man. Let them bury their prejudice. Let them show their noble side. Let me have untrammeled growth. My friends will never know regret. And I never once forget. Such a very powerful piece. You know, Dennis, he by now, like, let me just give a little bit about when he was born. I think he was born around 1911, somewhere around 1911, and he died somewhere around 1994. But this was a man who was opportune to go school in London somewhere around 1940, and from there you begin to observe his personal life and his experience with the colonial masters in his own hometown in Nigeria then, and what he would see while studying in the UK. All of these relationships. And coming to talk about these things, the Young Africans Plea, about our custom, about the customs, our customs as Africans. It should not be kept like some fine curious, like something that should be created for exhibition, something that people would just go into the museum to see. And somehow, because we have that at the back of our mind to want to please some white perspectives, we want to make them, we want to create certain things to their pleasure. And because of that, the reality of who we are most times is locked up, hidden. And so is the plea from Dennis, that our culture should not in any way be tweaked to satisfy any man's cultural perspective or prejudice. But we should have and be proud of ours. And by the way, we should use our culture, our custom, and how we've been able to invent ourselves, how we've been able to discover ourselves. We should go back into that perspective to work, because we understand ourselves better. Not a foreign man's ideology. A foreign man should not come tell us how we should live our lives. I mean, how we should work, how we should invent, how we should go about technology. We can play around with what they have to give to us, but again, it's very important that people discover themselves. Every culture should be permitted, should be given. Basically, every culture have got the right to discover themselves and to do things their own way. They should learn, yes, but nobody should force them to not use their ways. So we shouldn't go manipulate our customs to suit some white historian's taste. Now you begin to see these pictures. There's nothing artificial in our culture. Our culture is unique. Our customs are unique. They are. You know. And by the way, I'm actually reading from my old West African verse. So we still have some of our old junior secondary school textbooks. Yeah. So are you ashamed of your culture? Are you ashamed of your customs? Do you sometimes try to present certain things in your culture so that it's like, for example, I know sometimes we would want to call akara. We will call akara with the word bean cake because you're trying to suit a foreign man's understanding of what they may think about your stuff, your local delicacies. So akara, just akara, the beauty of akara. Or the word dawa dawa, you want to say local Maggi. But call them by their name. Or to say gari, you call it local conflicts or something like that. It is so good that you should be proud of where you're coming from and not be ashamed of calling things and doing things your own way. Even sometimes your fashion. These things, the foreign ways of life, should not deter you from doing yours. I think this is just one of the things we'll be doing. I think sometimes I'll be coming on and we'll be reviewing, talking about the strength. And then as we do review, we want to also talk about some of the weaknesses. Like when we talk about empowering and encouraging our cultures and customs, it does not mean that we cannot learn from other people's ways of life, because humanity is diverse. And when we talk about cultures, our culture is not particularly so unique that in every way we have answers, but we can explore other traditions, we can explore other cultures. I believe that civilization is not particularly owned by certain cultures, but that we can learn from one another, we can learn from humanity and improve on our ways. So that's one thing. So, like as I read from the work of Dennis Osadebe, this young African's plea. Yes, we can plead, we can beg, we can cry for our own way, but it does not mean that we will not regard other customs and learn other ways. This word of wisdom to learning, be flexible, to the truth, be firm. So grab what is true about your ways and be firm to it, and then to others, learn, re-educate yourself. We'll see you again another time.